Ladies and gentlemen, Mitch McConnell tanked the Republican Party in the last couple of months of last year. Trump is 100% right on this. McConnell refusal on $2,000 checks cost GOP its Senate majority, by Catherine Doyle. White House correspondent, Washington Examiner, March 4th, 2021. Former President Donald Trump lashed out at Senator Mitch McConnell on Thursday over his refusal to approve payments to Americans above $600 during the spending negotiations last year, blaming the now Senate Minority Leader for two GOP losses. To set the record straight, there were two reasons the Senate races. Trump said in a statement issued Thursday, pointing McConnell's refusal to go above $600 per person on a stimulus check payment when the Democratic opponents were touting $2,000 per person in ad after ad, which, by the way, the Biden administration is not going to honor that promise or fulfill that promise. So no Medicare for all, no Green New Deal legislation, no universal basic income. They're not even going to get the stimulus checks they want. They're not going to get the minimum wage they wanted. The left is an entire racket, but it's a finely tuned political machine and racket and scam. Like, they will promise you the world, they won't even get close, and then they'll say, well, Trump is a monster, even though throughout President Trump's tenure, throughout most of his tenure, we had record low unemployment. That's a fact. Throughout most of his tenure. The pandemic was not his fault. Every Democratic governor was blindsided. You can look at the New York Times statistics, the top four, the highest per capita rates, and seven of the top 10 in terms of aggregate lives lost. 6 or 7 of the top 10 in terms of aggregate lives lost are all Democratic-run states. 7 of the top 11, I believe, in terms of aggregate lives lost, and the top 4 in terms of per capita are all Democratic-run states. How is that Trump's fault? That led to the most draconian economic policies, which led to the Bureau of Labor Statistics. The link is below. The top 11 the highest unemployment rates. The top 11 highest unemployment rates are in Democratic-run states, and you add D.C., which is run by Democrats, and it's top 12. So it's not, D.C.'s not a state, but top 12 places, 11 states and D.C., they're all blue states, or, 11 blue states and then D.C. So that's not Trump's fault. And the lowest unemployment rates are in red states. It's not a blue or red state issue, but media has made it this type. We can go on forever, but what was the point of Mitch McConnell not giving the stimulus check that people wanted? Okay, Democrats wait until, this year to say, oh gosh, we're not going to give exactly what we promised. But what was the point of that? I mean, what on earth was the point of that? They say, oh, well, everything's Trump's fault, and there shouldn't even have been a prolonged negotiation if you're Mitch McConnell. What were you thinking? What was the point? Hit subscribe to this channel right now. By the way, ladies and gentlemen, I will have a live stream this evening, probably around 8 p.m. this evening. So be here for the live stream at 8 p.m. And I've thought about it. I'm going to do them. I'm going to kickstart them again, and they're fun. I go back and forth. Sometimes I feel like doing them. Sometimes I don't. I don't know. I just feel like doing them now. So, and they're fun. So, be here at the live stream tonight at 8 p.m. Hit subscribe to this channel, ladies and gentlemen. Your support is greatly appreciated. I'm telling you, I'm walking on eggshells, which is why the channel is fine and thank God doing well. But every single day, I'm walking on eggshells, trying my best to, give you my analysis, my evaluation of the news, my viewpoint, which resonates with you. And to the people who support me, I thank you. Just, what? The best thing you could do is, go on my live streams or share my segments. So tell your friends and family that would appreciate my voice to subscribe to this channel. And if you want to support my voice long term, my Patreon is below. Your support would be so greatly appreciated. And to my new patrons, thank you. Ladies and gentlemen, I'll read you. Democrats campaigned heavily on promising to deliver a $2,000 stimulus check if they secured both Senate seats, giving the party control of the chamber with an addition of Vice President Kamala Harris' tie-breaking vote. Now, let me just explain something to you. If you think all is lost, and you think that Democrats run the government, media, everything, this is a fleeting moment in American history. It really is. It's a fleeting moment in American history. Now, Trump was able to overcome the Clinton machine 4 years ago. He did so in large part, well, in part because media, Hollywood, they weren't ready for him. They underestimated him, and in the last couple of years, like I said, he fell for a trap. He should never again get on Twitter. What's happened with President Trump is that every single element of society, every single aspect of popular culture, of political discourse, of political media, of media in general, Hollywood, you cannot even enjoy late night. Ladies and gentlemen, you can't enjoy late night without hearing Democratic Party talking points, spread in almost every joke, or most of, or a good percentage of the time, whether it's Stephen Colbert, Jimmy Kimmel, Jimmy Fallon, Trevor Noah, a good percentage of the time is devoted to how horrible Trump is, how bad Republicans are. Republicans don't have this, okay? If Mitt Romney replaced Trump, he would have the same exact problem. He would then be seen as a tyrant and a despot. They're not looking for a kinder, gentler Republican leader. They say they are. They want an adult in the room, they say. But that adult in the room would quickly become, oh my God, he committed a crime against humanity. He put his dog on top of his car. Oh my goodness, and it's more than just that, Mitt Romney. Oh, they would treat Romney in the same manner as Trump, even without the Twitter presence. Now, that might not have been the case prior to President Trump, but after President Trump, they realized, hey, look, Twitter presence or no Twitter presence, it's a great playbook. So they'd utilize that against any Republican, not just Trump. But President Trump fell into a trap. He created something, and I'm telling you, ladies and gentlemen, you probably notice I have one wonderful subscriber, numerous subscribers who've said they've had family members that their relationships with could end because the family member is like obsessed with this contempt and disdain for Trump. Like, most supporters of President Trump don't care who you vote for. I don't care who, I know 6 or 7 individuals who will not speak to me. I don't care who they vote for, but they will not talk to me because of their issues pertaining to Trump. Like, if you explain to them, hey, he stepped foot in North Korea, he was the first president to begin détente between North and South Korea, Abraham Accords, peace between Israel, UAE, Bahrain, Morocco, all of these great things. We had record low unemployment throughout most of his tenure, which is a fact. He removed Americans from the same region of the world that Biden actually used a military tactic to defend. We shouldn't even be in that region. We shouldn't have a presence in that region. Numerous examples of a presence in that region. We shouldn't even be there. And he reversed U.S. foreign policy. He had a less hawkish foreign policy. I'm about to sneeze. But you can't, what Mitch McConnell did, overlook, Republicans don't understand the dynamic here. President Trump fell into certain traps. He shouldn't have insulted LeBron James. He shouldn't have insulted NFL athletes. He shouldn't have insulted as many people as he did. It didn't do him any good. Twitter was a trap. You might say, well, it was great. It was a catharsis. It was, he went after the people who went after him. It's like, well, if you go after a Hollywood celebrity, it just bolsters the belief that they can do anything against Trump. They can set up and frame him because he's a bully. And you know what? all the tyrants from years past used Twitter also. All the despots and the authoritarians, they used Twitter also in the same manner. Like, he's the opposite of a despot. If you know anything about history, you know that Trump is the opposite of a totalitarian. How many totalitarian regimes signed prison reform legislation and removed their military presence from regions of the world? Not many. In fact, that's not what despots are known for. My point is, Mitch McConnell, when he's negotiating with Democrats on trying to lower payments when people are suffering, has not, like, you throw your fiscal conservative hat out the window at that point. My God almighty. You have, people going to the polls in a couple of weeks. What are you doing? And so you lost the Senate majority because you wanted to what? Stick to a principle that even Republicans didn't care about at that moment? And you didn't understand that Republicans went after Trump. Paul Ryan and Richard Burr and everybody from McCain to Romney to Sass, they all went after Trump. Republicans investigated Trump. Republicans were always with every Supreme Court pick, 3 Supreme Court picks. At the end, it didn't do President Trump any good, really, but 3 Supreme Court picks, which one would hope will protect the Second Amendment, okay? But he was able to accomplish a great deal. When I say that this moment is fleeting, you have every conceivable possible advantage for the Republican Party. This is why you should watch this channel, because I'll give you context in my long-winded manner. I'll speak for about 20 minutes, and I'll give you a lot of context. And it'll be like a therapy, session for you and me. Because, I really enjoy speaking to everybody here, and I hope you feel the same way. But the reality is, without Twitter, without late night, without Hollywood, without intelligence operatives that went out of their way to go after Trump, utilizing a dossier purchased by his direct political rival, fabricating a whole bunch of nonsense, trying to call him an illegitimate president, and then, oh my God, you see what happens if the tables are turned. Without Republicans going after Trump, you don't have this current political climate, and still they have the smallest majority in the House and the Senate in decades. This is like historically the smallest majority in Congress that they've ever had, Democrats over Republicans, or Republicans or any, party over another. So in 2022, all that has to change is for Republicans to speak with one voice, for the GOP to embrace a populist message, a populist political party that is against regime changes and that is okay with tariffs instead of the Trans-Pacific Partnership. People say, well, what is Trump's platform? They have no platforms. Yeah, the platform is tariffs over the Trans-Pacific Partnership, which the left didn't want, which wouldn't have helped us economically at all. By one study, it was like a Tufts University study, 400,000 jobs in the Midwest would have been lost because of the TPP. But you look, renegotiating NAFTA into the USMCA. These are populist policies that President Trump championed. He did good things as president, but I guess one of the points I was trying to say is, have you seen this level of vitriol and contempt towards Bush or Cheney or Rumsfeld? No. Starting never-ending counterinsurgency conflicts, military quagmires, all these horrible things means nothing. Trump's Twitter presence means everything. Bush, Cheney, and Rumsfeld foreign policy, Trump's tweets. They view Bush, Cheney, and Rumsfeld's foreign policy as and with President Obama and the NATO intervention that destroyed a country, we're not even going to get into that. They don't even care about it. It's not even within their realm. They don't even blame the president. It just happened. If it were Trump, oh my God. The media, it worked. Ladies and gentlemen, the barrage, the endless negative coverage, the 92% negative media coverage had to be more than 92% because I don't even know of a positive story in the past 4 years from any of the mainstream networks. Certainly not from CNN or MSNBC. So it had to be more than 92% negative media coverage. But it worked. People are now, they truly, it's like really scary. They despise, and then you had what happened, the tragedy, and they truly, there's people who truly despise Trump. Like, they have utter contempt for him. It consumes them. They go into a rage. When you talk about it, you can't even debate with them. They truly believe that 74 million Americans were either hypnotized or they're horrible, bigoted monsters. They look at everything from the vantage point of an apoplectic, morally superior, liberal Democrat on Twitter that watches Stephen Colbert and Jimmy Kimmel at night and reads the New York Times and Washington Post and relaxes with MSNBC and CNN. And if you're that type of person, you view Trump as worse than any despot who's ever existed. And it's not reality. That's my point. You can not like Trump. You can choose Biden. And that's fine. You can say I don't even like his personality. But to feel the negative emotions towards this man that a great many people do, millions of people do, President Trump, fell for that trap because his tweets at a certain point became too much for people. Then the constant barrage, the constant 24/7 negative coverage warped people's brains. And then you got Mitch McConnell trying to cut stimulus check payments. At least the Democrats have the good sense of waiting until they win to then not fulfill their promises and not give the money they promised. At least they have the good decency to do that, or the political smarts. But McConnell did tank everything. He really did. And look, in a way, it's good. Look, when Republicans realize that they need to speak with one voice, a populist message linked to President Trump's policies, there's no stopping them, because then they can push back against social media algorithms and all that. But until then, they can't, if you have Mitch McConnell, who is he's not an adversary of Trump or anything like that. He kind of is, but not really. He's not an adversary, but he's somebody who has been a thorn in the side of Trump. That's because he has about 7 senators that he has to contend with that will vote against Trump at every turn. Once you have Republicans that speak with one voice, you can have a legitimate or an effective opposition to whatever it is. Whatever it is. It could be tech, it could be foreign policy, it could be economic policy, it could be anything. A hoax trying to set up and frame President Trump, calling him a Russian operative, and then questioning why Trump would, we won't get into it. My God almighty. Give me your thoughts below. Hit subscribe right now. Trump is 100% right. Give me your thoughts.